CrimeTalk. Thanks for joining us. This is our Tuesday night live show. We affectionately refer to it as After Dark because, well, normally it's dark, but I guess since summer's coming, it's not dark just yet. But, you get the point. Anyhow, here we are Tuesday night, just like we are every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, give or take a couple of minutes. Tonight, I was finishing up a call. It went a little longer. And, well, Tuesday nights are the night that we talk about what all of our Crime Talk aficionados want to talk about. And tonight we're going to do something a little different. But before we get there, let me just, for those, as we kind of wait for people to join us, for those who perhaps are unfamiliar with this channel, maybe first time, my name is Scott Reich. I'm a practicing criminal defense attorney, been doing it for 27 years, so I have a pretty good idea of procedurally, tactically what's going on. We also do civil cases in my practice as well, but I try to stay out of those until the good stuff starts, like depositions and trial, because frankly, most people don't know this, but in civil litigation, it's usually a war of attrition. Who will say uncle first? And when I say uncle, it usually means who's going to file for bankruptcy first. So that's where we stand on that. And then the next thing, hold on one second, my computer is not bringing up the comments, so I can't really function without comments. So I'm going to reboot it and see what happens here. Maybe that's it. When in doubt, reboot it. So anyway, we're going to do something a little different tonight. Okay, usually we save this for our Patreon members. But tonight, that's right, we're going to do a call-in line where you can call in and say, hey, Scott, can you answer a question about whatever? We'll go anywhere you want, okay? Usually we save that for our Patreon people, but tonight, well, it's kind of a different twist. We'll see how it goes. It could turn out wonderfully, or it could be a complete abject failure. And I love the comments, like this one coming in. Scott defending Amber Heard. All I hear is blah, 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 blah. Scott, I do not say blah, 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 blah. Scott's not defending Amber Heard, okay? Everyone just needs to get out of that, okay? I'm just simply saying defamation trials of a public figure like Johnny Depp, even if he wins at the trial court level, I would foresee a reversal at the appellate court level, okay? That's just me, okay? Like I said, the case of Falwell, okay? Hustler Magazine versus Falwell back in the 80s. A unanimous Supreme Court ruled, okay? A unanimous Supreme Court ruled that public figures, basically, you can say anything about them, okay? And in that particular case, it was like a campaign ad saying that Reverend Falwell, who was, very conservative, public figure, you name it, that he was involved in an incestuous relationship in an outhouse, okay? He goes to trial court level. Everybody's shocked. I can't believe they said that. And guess what? A unanimous Supreme Court rules and says, that's it. You can't get around the First Amendment when it comes to public figures, even when you're just saying that you have emotional distress, which is what he was claiming in that particular suit. So that's all I'm saying, people. Let's get real business. I get it. Everybody loves Johnny Depp. Who doesn't love Johnny Depp? Who did not love Edward Scissorhands? Okay? I had to watch it probably 2 or 3 times to really get it, but it was a good movie. Okay? Pirates of the Caribbean, some of his younger stuff. I like Johnny Depp. I have nothing against Johnny Depp. Okay? So we'll keep it at that. All right? and as we mentioned in today's video, if you look at the law, I just think it's an uphill battle. But, civil litigation is normally for people that have lots of money, okay? Lots of money that want to show that they can banty about their money and their attorneys. And they say, I don't care what it costs. We'll just go with it. So that's just the way it is. It's a war of attrition. That's why I frankly do not love civil litigation, because it goes on and on and on and on. It never ends. And, it's basically to see who there. And what most people don't forget, Miss Heard, let's face it, if she's probably in the running for the CrimeTalk Horrible Person of the Year award, okay? I get that. She does not seem like a nice woman. She has a history of domestic violence, right? She had that case in Seattle. I think that she got arrested with her then partner at the time, someone that she was involved in an intimate relationship, and the woman, she's grabbing this woman's arm and doing it, and she got arrested for domestic violence, right? You have to be involved in it. So she's got a history of that. Flag, trigger, run, Johnny, run. But he stayed, all right? And he doesn't sound, he sounds like a great guy to hang out with, super cool, but he's also, by his own admission, he was addicted to opioids. He was addicted to alcohol. And my experience is that oftentimes when people, whether individually with alcohol or drugs, that sometimes they do things that they're embarrassed and ashamed of the next day, or maybe they don't even recall, okay? That's what we're saying, okay? We have a call. Julie, could you do me a huge favor? Mm-hmm. Could you run to my office in my backpack, grab my other computer, because for some reason I'm not getting anything, so I cannot see any of the questions or if there are any live chats. And not that we ask for super chats, but it certainly helps highlight them, or at least it will, when I actually have a computer that I can see those comments. All right, Frank is telling me that we have a call. Okay. And here's the thing. One rule when you call. You have to talk into your phone. There's a delay, all right? There's a delay from time that I speak. It goes out into the internet, off to wherever it goes, down to you. So if you're listening on your computer, we're going to have a delay. So turn your computer off, turn it down. All our Patreon people know this, because our Patreons, this is usually a Patreon perk. But we're going to go with it tonight. We're going to see how this goes. Let's see. First caller on our CrimeTalk show is not a Patreon member, so we don't know what we're going to get. Let's see what we got. Frank, who do we have?
Tim.
Who? Tim. All right. Tim, can you hear us?
Yes, I got you.
All right. Thanks for calling. Where are you calling from?
Curious. Rhode Island. The Republic of Rhode Island.
All right. Well,
I'm just curious about your thoughts on the Marjorie Taylor Greene trial.
Okay.
Trying to keep her off the ballot.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is, I can't remember if it was opponents of hers or somebody within. I think she's a Republican, or she's a Republican. They want to keep her off the ballot because there's a provision in the Georgia statute that basically said if you engaged in any sort of sedition against the United States, this is a clause, I guess, that they put in after the Civil War, that you couldn't hold office. And as I understand it...
You're exactly correct.
As I understand it, Ms. Greene is saying, Congressman Greene, isn't denying that she engaged in sedition, and I want to make sure I get my words correct, but she's saying she doesn't recall if she engaged in sedition, I think is what I recall her response being. Did I get it right?
Yes, that's one of their arguments. They're basing the fact that she mentioned 1776 several times in statements that was an act of sedition.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you can say,
violence, I believe.
Yeah, anything that has to do with politics, I mean, that's a dog-eat-dog world, and they are going to go any avenue they can to, disqualify her, get her off the ballot, and politics is also makes for strange bedfellows. I'm sure there are people of her own party that are probably supporting that push as well.
I'm sure there are too.
She's not very well liked, so it's just one of those things. I mean, I think it's an interesting argument, but you have to kind of give somebody credit because somebody obviously read the Georgia Constitution and said, "Hey, let's get creative." As I understand it, there was a motion to dismiss filed, and the judge denied it. So the case is moving forward. So it's going to get interesting. I mean, I've never seen it in my lifetime.
I certainly appreciate you taking my call. I don't think that it's very democratic to try to deprive voters of their voting rights for an elected official. But
here's the thing. I mean, I don't know the number, but there were several, or still may be several members of Congress that have been convicted of felonies that are still serving because, there's no real requirements other than an age and kind of a residency requirement. You live within the district or the state. There's some Congress people that don't even live in the district because they don't have to. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting to say the least. But I don't know. You get the government you deserve, I guess, is what as the saying goes. So it's. I
can't agree more with that. I'm sure there's a lot more felons in Congress that haven't been convicted yet. We'll just leave that there.
Well, like I said, you get the government you deserve, and if that's you always wonder every time they narrow it down to the two candidates. You literally think to yourself, really? Is this the best that we have? Really? This is the best. A country of 350 million people, and these are the two best candidates that we can get. So,
yeah, it seems to be a choice of choosing the lesser evil more times than not these
unfortunately.
days.
Yep. All right. Thanks for your call.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. Thank you. My wife and I love your program. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate it. Are you a Patreon, or this is the first time since we just put the number up tonight? Oh, I guess we lost him. All right. Well, thanks for calling. Oh, look. See, that wasn't a complete thing. Now, Susan sent a super chat, so I have to respond. We'll answer all super chats. Scott, Johnny has damages. Falwell, not so much. Actually, Susan, Jerry Falwell was awarded $150,000 back there in like 1985 dollars, which was a lot of money back then, for his alleged emotional distress that he had there. Now, don't get me wrong. If the jury believes that Ms. Heard made maliciously false statements, then she should be found guilty of that. And then the damage question comes in. And then the question then becomes how much damages. And what that boils down to is how much was directly result from her op-ed back in 2018. What's going on, guy? Okay. So hopefully, Susan, that will be it. But as the attorney yesterday on or 2 days ago, I think on cross-examination, brought up all those articles about Mr. Depp showing up intoxicated to parties, premieres, things of that nature, and delays in the studio making of one of his movies because he was intoxicated. One could say that that's simply that he was doing that of his own making as well. I don't know. I don't know. So hopefully that answers your question, Susan. We'll try. But make sure we try to do that. Okay, let's take a look here. Is everything okay, guys? You guys?
Yeah. Someone had a question about something unrelated.
Okay.
People are calling and they hang up.
Oh, people are calling and hanging up? Oh. Okay. Let's see here. Let's take a look at some of these other questions here because it's Tuesday night. We're going to answer your questions. Peace out, Lisa. I am a Johnny Depp fan. Don't know, heard either. I will say that they're so focused on his drug use. In my opinion, it has nothing to do with abuse. Listen, I can further try to upset people. What is this trial supposed to go? 3-4 weeks, I think is what they're talking about. This judge, I think, is like the Judge Ito of civil trials here. Relevance, right? There is a element of statement. Statements were made. They're untrue. I mean, it should have been pretty quick. Mr. Depp, are you aware of the allegations that were in this op-ed piece? Yes, I was. Let's go through them one by one. Are those true? No, they're not. You deny them. They're completely untrue. Why is all this other stuff relevant whatsoever? I don't get it. I don't get it. It should be rather simple. This is like a 5-day trial spread over a month or 6 weeks, whatever they're going to do. I don't get it. It seems like it's taking too long. I don't know what happens. Sometimes, I'm a firm believer that cameras should be in the courtroom for matters, but sometimes I guess it has an effect on people. But it just seems like to me that this trial should be much faster than what's taking place. And there is so much irrelevant stuff. The question is, did it happen? Johnny Depp, no, it did not happen. Okay. Were you in this location? Yes, I was. You were in this state? Yeah, okay. Ms. Heard gets up. Did it happen? Yes, it did. Were there any witnesses in the room? No, it's just my word versus his. So who are you going to believe? I mean, I've seen people what domestic violence person records videos or audio recordings. I don't know. Everyone's different. And nobody's supporting domestic violence. Let's just say that. Let's be absolutely clear. I just think it's also somewhat interesting that people that say, oh my gosh, you're Scott, you're supporting. No, I'm not. I'm just saying there's a question of fact. And here, there's probably some gray area. There's probably truth in both of their statements. I mean, that's all I'm saying. But that's for the jury to decide. So let's see here. Starla Mutiny. Do you believe the Ohio MD being acquitted of the 14 murder counts will lead to laws regarding the end-of-life choice of compassionate in other states? I think yes. I don't know if it'll come directly as a result of that particular case, but if you look at lots of states that have end-of-care, end-of-life type litigation, they put it to the voters here in Colorado. I'm pretty sure it was to the voters, where they basically, it was an amendment that voters passed it somewhat overwhelmingly, and the issue was, can people, basically, if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, end your life, with the assistance of compassionate medical care. So, yes, Starla, I think it will. I mean, I hope it does. I mean, I know some people are like, oh, doctors can't do that. They have a Hippocratic oath. But if you've ever seen somebody in hospice lying there waiting I mean, they got that death rattle thing going on. It's not a pleasant thing to see. And you're literally, they refer to as the death rattle's here. It won't be long now. Where the body's kind of shutting down and stuff. And it's like, we put our animals down, for goodness sake. Oh, little Fluffy, she's going to suffer. We have more compassion for animals sometimes than we do with people. So let's see here. We have a call. Let's see here. Who do we have on the line? Good evening, Veronica. You're on the air.
Hi, Scott. I just called to say I appreciate all your hard work that you and your team do. You can never offend me. And just say I appreciate you.
Oh, hold on. I'm sure I could do something to offend you. I'm just kidding.
No, you can't.
All right.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Okay. Hey, and everybody is. And what's wrong with that, right?
It's nothing wrong with it. Nothing.
I agree.
Some people just don't like the truth.
Yeah, or the facts or the law. I get it. People have their, I think they refer to the buzzword is today, implicit biases, right? On anything. So anyway, enough about that. What else? What's on your mind?
I just wanted to know, did you enjoy flying more or being inside of the courtroom?
Oh. That is a great question. Okay. So I get how do I best explain this? Okay. There are certain things about being in the legal profession that are not fun. Okay.
Right.
The preparation that goes into trial, the letter writing, the jail visits, the meeting with the client. I mean, it's exhausting. Okay.
I can imagine.
And when you have a great case, like, all right, let's go to trial. Or if your facts aren't so great, but the offer sucks, you're like, let's go for it. Okay. And I think I'm kind of old school in that regard. Like, if that's the offer I can get by going to trial and losing, we'll see you in trial. Let's go. So all the preparation, okay, that is the part that is exhausting. That's not fun. Okay.
Right.
But when you show up to court and they say, bring in the jury, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like game on. Okay.
That's what I thought you would say.
Like, oh, we're going this, right? First question, selecting the jury, the strategy of trying to figure out who, you can get on a homicide trial, maybe 20 minutes, an hour for a homicide, sometimes to pick a jury. That's why I'm always, so surprised. You hear about these cases. We have a week set aside to set a jury. I think the longest we ever did for a jury selection was 3 days on a case, at least by design. We had one that went for like a week because it just turned into a train wreck and the judge couldn't stop it. But for the most part, you get like an hour to select a jury. So it's the strategy behind that. Like, trying to read people, life kind of thing, and it's always interesting because the old adage, you never can read a book by its cover. You just don't know until you talk to people because everybody's got a story, right?
Right.
And then, when they call their first witness, it's usually like a cop. And the first question is, officer, how long have you been a police officer? Objection, relevance.
Yeah.
How long did you spend in the police academy? Relevance, Your Honor. Who cares? What element does this go to prove? And it's like that point, game on. And then the district attorney's like, Your Honor, but he keeps interrupting me. And it's, that feeling where you hate losing more than you actually like to win, okay? It's that point is you want to win. And when you have the impossible situation, because some days it seems like I get referrals from lots of clients or from either other attorneys where they're like, you need to go hire like a trial attorney like Scott. Like I don't do, there's some attorneys that they just don't go to trial that often or serious stuff. And I'm like, all right, let's go do it.
Would you defend Lori?
I'm sorry?
Would you defend Lori?
Lori Vallow?
Yeah.
Everybody's entitled to an attorney. If she, family came to me and said, hey, we've got this big old pot of money.
As long as she got the money.
I mean, I know there's some people that are going to be super offended by that. But
okay.
no, seriously, I had some guy, I think it was a guy trolling me last week. Sitting in your airplane hangar last week, cigar, slouching. And I'm like,
yeah, I saw it.
What did I do to this guy? Well, I wasn't really slouching. At least, I mean, it was kind of a purpose because I couldn't get the camera to go up high enough because Frank wasn't there. If I sat up too high, and if I sat up too high, then I couldn't see it. People were like, "Hey, take a tour." Like, okay, it wasn't like, braggadocio. I didn't think it was. I'm like, here's this, and this. Anyway, so that was it. So then the question is, yes, I love being an attorney. I love doing trial work once you get there. All the other stuff, man, I'm telling you, if somebody could say, Scott, we'll bring you all the clients, or you just get the clients, we'll handle everything else. So you're not, worrying about, running, you got 10 people in your practice here. Hey, you got to stay late to review billing before it goes out. I would love that. Just go try cases, man. Sign me up. Give me a case every other week. Let's go try it. Then flying. I love flying. And you know why the reason I love flying the most? Well, one, it's an incredible experience. Taking off and landing an airplane never gets old. But the next reason, I guess, would be the fact that there's no phones when you're flying. You got to focus on flying. It is the most relaxing thing you can do. Even when you're flying in bad weather or if you have an issue, you can only focus on flying. So for those hour, 2-3 hours you're up in the air, you can just focus on nothing else. It's like just turning your brain off. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and that's I can imagine. You deserve it.
Well, thanks for your question. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for taking my call. I really appreciate it. I really do.
All right. Well, have a wonderful night, and thanks for calling. Maybe we'll do this again, all right?
You too. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Good evening.
All right. Who do we have next, Frank? Lori, are you there? Good evening, Laura.
Hi.
Lori, you're on.
Yeah, it's just Jake here on YouTube. But I had a story to tell you that I served on jury duty, and during the jury selection board there, I think is how you say it.
Yep.
I disclosed that I follow your channel, and because I had asked if I had had any kind of
legal training,
exposure to violent crime.
Okay.
And because it was I won't tell about the case, but anyhow, I disclosed it. They asked me questions about your channel and where you were based and things like that. I'm in Florida, and so I don't think it was a problem. I was selected for jury duty, and he was found guilty.
Well, the system worked, I guess, right?
Because I told them that you had always said, listen to the facts, follow the law, and, don't let anything sway you as far as emotions in it. And I told them that, and they shut me down, and they asked me about your channel.
All right. Well, thanks for the free advertising. And apparently they must have thought I was not spewing bad stuff because you were apparently kind of reciting all the good stuff, right?
Yes,
withhold judgment until you hear all the evidence.
Yeah. And one more thing I wanted to say, that I think people believe you're defending Barry Morphew when what you're saying is that they just don't have the case to prove he did it.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if Barry Morphew killed his wife. I don't know that. Frankly, the only person that knows is the person that did it, assuming she's dead, correct? And if Barry Morphew did it, obviously he knows. And if he didn't, he should be given the presumption of innocence. And like I said, the first time I read that 123, 132 page affidavit, I was like, this is weak. Even the judge was saying, this is pretty weak. And I'm telling you, I've never seen an affidavit in a homicide go that long. That tells me they don't have it, okay? I said that early on in the case. I thought it was a weak case. And like I said, I don't know Barry Morphew. He's not paying me anything. We're just calling it the way it see it. I think he had a couple of very good attorneys. They went in there. They saw something that was done. And I have never, ever seen a court sanction the district attorney in a way that this judge did. And it's not like it was just, oh, we missed a date by a day or two. They just blew off discovery deadlines and said, Judge, your orders don't matter to us. We're just going to follow Rule 16. And the judge was like, no, you're going to follow it. And when they didn't, he said, we're striking all these experts. And a lot of them couldn't get past what they call a Daubert, like it was actual scientific evidence type of situation. So I have nothing against or for Barry Morphew. I think, frankly, it's going to be interesting. We talked about it today on the show. He has a court date on May 22nd, I think. May 26th. Thank you, Frank. And Julie corrected me earlier because I couldn't remember it. But he has a court appearance for this forgery case where he sent in the ballot, right? Wouldn't that be ironic? A guy that, accused with murder, they dismissed the case 7 days before trial, and maybe he'll get hung up on a little forgery felony. You never know. You never know.
Well, okay. Thank you for taking my call, Scott.
Of course.
It's a pleasure to speak with you. I love tooting your horn.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And, I'm glad you got to be on jury service. I'm assuming this is your first time you've ever been a juror?
No, I've been on jury duty several times.
Okay.
That was my third time.
All right.
Third time in about 40 years.
Okay. Who is asking more questions, the prosecutor or the defense attorney, about your YouTube legal education?
Defense.
Okay. And you told them that
the crime was on video. The crime was on video, and they were trying to decide whether there was intent with it. And so anyhow, the defense attorney asked me the questions about your channel.
Okay. Well, he probably thought, hey, we got a good one here, right? Follows a criminal defense attorney. Yeah. This is going to be good. But hey, that's the thing. When you become a juror, you have to set all that aside. You have to, follow the law, listen to the facts, apply the facts to the law, and make your decision with neither passion nor prejudice, and let the chips fall where they may. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling, and thank you for all the kind words to the jury pool. Hopefully they'll go watch now.
Yeah, maybe you got a few subscribers from it.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Another call.
Okay. Who's on the line, Frank? Shauna, are you there? Shauna?
Hi, Scott. Thanks for taking my phone call. I think you and I are possibly the only ones who think Johnny Depp is a lousy witness. And I've watched the testimony a couple of times around. However, I want to get your opinion on these Johnny Depp witnesses, because all of a sudden they suffer from Alzheimer's and dementia, including the cops. So what's your take on that, and how will that affect Depp's case overall, proving defamation?
Well, it's my understanding the police officers, these are the ones where the police were called and they didn't really see any evidence of domestic violence, right?
True.
Okay. I mean, they're going to stick to their statements. They're going to stick to their statements.
But nobody seemed to have a report written up. I mean, if I was a cop, I'd be like, yo, I went to Johnny Depp's house. That's kind of a thing you would remember. if you were a cop, but all of a sudden they got, like I said, they don't remember. I don't recall.
Were these Beverly Hills police officers?
Well, they would be L.A., I think, where he's located. And
Okay. Now,
yeah,
I don't want to speak.
I gather there was some celebrity worship happening there, and maybe some preferential treatment.
Let's just say, and I don't know anything about the officers in the Johnny Depp case, but let's just say I have seen circumstances where if you are in, let's say, a very affluent part of town and you were to get in trouble, let's just say they probably take certain courtesies with you that maybe they wouldn't take with everyday citizen Joe Blow. Okay? So is that something that can happen? I don't know. I wasn't there. Normally police have to document everything they do, every place they go. And, you know, I think that goes back to 2015, 2016. So here you are 6-7 years later. Some days I can't remember what I did for lunch last week. So if it's not in my calendar, not in a file or a note, I may not recall it either. And they got to be truthful. Now, you know, when there's a lot of I don't recalls, that's usually I'm not going to lie. So I don't recall it. Just saying.
Thank you, Scott. And one more thing I wanted to say. You have made COVID isolation absolutely amazing for me. I appreciate every show. I watch you every time you are on YouTube. Thank you very much. You're doing us a great service with your advice and keeping us up to date on all these high-profile cases. Thank you.
Well, thanks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your kind words. All right. Thank you very much. All right. 2 more calls. Wow. All right. Who do we have next, Frank? Paula. Paula, are you there? Paula? You got to listen to your phone. You can't use the computer. Paula, going once. Going twice. Yep, we'll try you next
I'm here.
time.
Can you hear me?
Oh, Paula, you got to listen to the
Hello?
phone. You were this close to being cut off.
Well, I heard I accidentally pushed the mute button.
Okay.
Sorry about
No
that.
worries. How are you?
Anyway, my question. Oh, good, thank you. My question is about Lori Vallow. I thought it was interesting at the arraignment last week that instead of pleading guilty herself, her attorney just said she was going to stay silent and have the state put in a guilty plea. What is the purpose of her not doing it herself?
Well, normally the attorney will, in fact, enter a plea for a defendant. I know in Idaho, they have the defendant say guilty or not guilty. For whatever reason, a defendant can refuse to say anything. I have no idea why Lori Vallow would choose to do that. It's pretty perfunctory in a criminal court to say not guilty. You could be guilty of sin, but it's just the magic words that start the speedy trial clock and says that's the words that say prove it, right? So anyway, if a defendant refuses to enter a plea, the court will say, fine, I'm going to enter a plea on your behalf. I've only seen it done a couple of times in my practice. Wasn't my client, but I've seen it usually where, somebody's in custody. Maybe there's some mental health issues. They don't want the case to go forward. Case keeps getting delayed. The judge says, fine, I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty for you. Let's get this matter rolling down the road. So I'm not exactly sure what that was about. Maybe someday we will find out, but I have no idea. But it didn't.
Yeah, I didn't
delay
realize
anything.
if there was some kind of. Yeah, I just didn't realize if there was some kind of legal reasoning behind somebody why someone wouldn't do that or.
No, I mean, listen. When it comes to Lori Vallow, it's very, very interesting. Okay, she was down or up at the state hospital there in Idaho for some 10 months. Right? They restore her to competency. That's a pretty lengthy stretch at the state hospital. okay? And I've said this before. Those are professionals there. They've seen malingering. They know if people are faking. But for whatever reason, and usually it's drugs, and I'm not privy to what they did to her, but the reality is that they fixed her, so to speak. At least fixed her enough where she can assist in her defense, right? It's the old fog the mirror test. Oh, if you can fog a mirror, you're qualified, right? To be competent, you have to kind of know the roles of the people in the courtroom, what the charges are, the consequences, and you have to be able to assist your attorney in the defense of the case. And what that means is, it's like, hey, if you say, hey, I don't want to talk about the case, I don't like, we've all had that. Clients want to talk about everything other than that, but is there some other reason? But when they bring somebody back from the state mental hospital and now they're cured, it's a competency miracle. At that point, usually people are like, oh, okay, yeah, I didn't realize what was going on. And the prosecution usually offers them a deal. They take it into consideration, the mental health issues at the time, and they try to resolve the case while they're in a state of competency. My guess is the prosecution. So if on any
weird chance sorry.
No, go ahead.
On some weird chance, off chance that she would have come back and pled guilty, would that just have thrown Chad's case into a tailspin, and then they were looking for a deal after that, or what might have happened there?
Well, she didn't, and it wouldn't have taken away, still basically life in prison. So no attorney is going to advise you to do that. That would ultimately be the client's decision. But I'm curious, and I'm really curious. I guess it's a long way of getting to the thing that I'm curious about is, what is her state of mind? Is it, oh my goodness, I've been accused of killing my 2 children and Chad's former spouse? Like, oh my God, did I really do this? Or is it, I didn't do this, full steam ahead, let's go to trial? That's what I want to know, but I don't know how we're going to find out about it unless there's something filed with the court, maybe through her, it leaks out. I don't know. But I think that's very, very interesting because she showed up in court. She looked like she just come from the, getting her hair done and looking all kind of sassy, so to speak. And you're like, that's not really normal. What takes place, when somebody gets back in custody, they're usually in their little orange jumpsuit, frazzled a little bit. And she was just like, yeah, I got this. Let's do it. Let's go to trial in October. So I would love to know what her thinking is. She has now another attorney on the case. Co-counsel was appointed to work with Mr. Archibald. He's going to need time to get up to speed on the case. It's a full-time job right there. So I'm curious to know what her mentality is. I did nothing wrong. Prove it. You guys got 6 months to get me to trial. See you in October. I can't wait.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. The no speedy trial. I was a little surprised about that. I thought they would have talked her into the January since that's when Chad was, but now kind of threw a wrench into things. So it will be interesting, and I'm counting the days.
Well, the thing, and this is what, kind of like when the first caller talked about, like, what do you like doing more, flying or lawyer stuff? The lawyer stuff, it's kind of fun, the maneuvering, right? Mr. Archibald, he's just kind of been sitting back here the whole time, not really saying much. All right, client's back. I was assuming, and that's the general rule in litigation, right? Assume nothing, check everything out, double, triple check it. And she shows up to court and she's like, yeah, I'm not going to waive speedy trial. Nope, we're not doing January. We're doing October. And the judge's like, I can't do anything. Let's oblige her with a trial date. Those kinds of maneuvers, that's good lawyering. Okay? Good lawyering. The prosecution didn't see it, and I didn't see their faces when they did that, but I'm sure they were thinking, are you kidding me? The whole point of all this was we wanted one trial date, and now we have 2. All of their filings have been, don't inconvenience the prosecution, don't make us do the case in Ada, and don't make us do it twice. And the judge hasn't ruled yet on the renewed motion. regarding moving the trial. Hopefully he just says, no, we're going to do it. And sorry, it's inconvenient, but these are, criminal justice, it's expensive. You got to do it. And so we'll see. We'll see. I think it's just good lawyering.
Well, since John Pryor wanted to move it up, he would be willing to do the October, I'm assuming, right?
I don't know. I haven't heard what his intentions are.
Wasn't he motioning to do it sooner?
I don't think he was making a motion to do it sooner. I think he was okay with that January date. I'd have to go back and double check. Maybe he did. I can't remember. Do you remember, Julie, if he did?
Yeah, I think he wanted to do it sooner.
Maybe he did, but for whatever reason, but he had waived speedy trial. That was it. And so they're like, well, he's already waived speedy trial. You're correct. I think that's my recollection, right? Is that Pryor wanted it, but he had already waived speedy trial to a certain point. So the judge is like, no, we're going to set January, but that's a firm, it's a go date. And that was it. So yes, you were correct. And so I don't know, maybe he'll take it. I still think Pryor wants to do a separate trial. He always wanted severance. He argued for severance, and the court joined it, even though she wasn't still there. But now they're not joined for trial. So I think everyone kind of gets their own way. And who knows? Maybe Lori's like, I'm going to be a sacrificial lamb. I'll go first to help, hubby. Who knows? It's going to get interesting.
Well, she must still love him since she wants to be Mrs. Daybell.
Yeah, I'm telling you, good lawyering, it is so fun to watch. And I don't know if it was by design or what, but if it was Mr. Archibald's thinking to do that, I love it. Him saying, yeah, we're not going to say anything. I'm not going to burn any bridges. Judge, you go ahead and do it. And nope, she has not authorized me to waive speedy trial. Nope. So see you soon. I mean, I don't know if it was by design. I don't know. That's what I would love to know, what's going on in there in Lori Vallow's brain.
Me too.
So thanks for calling.
All right. Thanks, Scott. We love your show. Me and my daughter talk about it every day.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Have a great night.
You too. Bye. Frank, who else do we have?
Shut up, I can't cook. He's on the chat.
Okay. Shut up, I can't cook. I love it.
I can. CAN. Hi.
Oh, shut up, I can cook. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry.
So I hope you can hear me okay?
You're coming in loud and clear.
Okay. So I'm very confused. I sent a $5 super chat with the same question I'm going to ask.
Okay.
Because I've been watching this trial from day one.
We're talking about the Johnny Depp trial?
Yes, Johnny Depp. I'm so sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Johnny Depp, Amber. And I am confused. We have her on tape literally concurring or admitting and apologizing that she said, I didn't punch you, I hit you.
Okay.
And him trying to flee. So I'm trying to understand how are they saying, to me, it's case closed. We have her on tape admitting that she was abusing him and he was trying to flee.
Okay, but you have to remember, that's not the issue. This is not a case about who is a good person, who is a bad person, okay? Everybody thinks Johnny Depp is a good person. Everybody thinks Amanda Heard is a bad person, okay? They could both be despicable people. But what Johnny Depp has to prove is that her statements, only the statements in the op-ed that she was a victim of domestic abuse are outright, adamantly false. Okay? Made up out of whole cloth, completely made up. She's nothing but a vicious liar. There's no truth whatsoever of anything that was said in that op-ed. She was never a victim of domestic abuse. He did nothing but treat her like a goddess. Okay? That's what Johnny Depp has to show. Okay? And I read the definition the other night, the general definition that goes throughout most states as it relates to what is the definition of domestic abuse. Okay? And so most people think, oh, domestic abuse is you punch somebody, you hit something, right? It can take the form of just about anything with the intent to harass, annoy, alarm, and intimidate, okay? Now, I believe that Amber Heard committed acts of domestic violence against Johnny Depp. She's saying Johnny Depp committed acts of domestic violence against her. The reality of it is most people don't see domestic violence. It usually takes place behind closed doors, okay? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Amber Heard is as pure as the clean fallen snow. I'm not saying that. Okay? I think in the words of their own marriage therapist, I believe the quote was, they could both, what was the exact word? Do we have that handy? It was, I think the therapist said,
mutual combatant.
They both said, she said that they could both basically dish it out. Okay. This is the epitome of a dysfunctional relationship. Okay. And over the years, I've seen some dysfunctional relationships in cases, not, my cases, other cases, but there's some people that you would think, you think these people were divorced, right? Like, bye, see ya, never going to talk to you again. No, they have no children.
But that's what Amber Heard did 2 years after they were divorced. And the only reason, and so why would she still be after him after 2 years?
Because it is a classic love-hate relationship. These two love to hate each other. Okay? Now, be honest. I mean, Johnny Depp, let's say he's the jury believes him. He is nothing but a harmless little snowflake. Never hurt anyone. All he ever did was get away. He did nothing wrong. He's the absolute victim here. Okay? Like all the reports that came up about the newspaper, they had him go through all the reports. And he was like, oh, these are just hit jobs. He didn't deny showing up late to Pirates of the Caribbean because he was intoxicated, right? He didn't deny showing up and being asked to leave movie premieres because he was intoxicated or doped up or whatever, okay? Now, that could make some people say, hey, and this is long before she wrote that article in 2018, to say Johnny Depp was on a spiral, right? How many people in life, common sense here, how many people have we seen where they start using drugs, they start using alcohol, they're great people, they're love, fun, but they get in that cycle and they destroy their life, their family, their careers, right? I just don't see why, somehow this can happen to everybody else in life, but not to Johnny Depp, right? Why? Because he's a celebrity?
Hold on.
He's a likable guy?
Can I interject?
Please. Sorry. Go ahead.
Amber Heard, we hear her on tape. She started this in 2016 during their divorce. That's when actors show up drunk and high all the time. But they weren't labeled a wife beater. In 2016, she had all the press follow her to get a restraining order against him.
Which a court granted.
The ball.
Which a court granted.
You and I can go out today or tomorrow and go to a court and lie and I'm a woman, and I can tell you, not that I have done it, but they do it.
I've seen it done.
And that's just the facts. Lie.
I have
to the
represented.
Court. All you got to do, they lie. He beat me.
I have seen it.
And
I
they'll
know.
give you a temporary restraining order.
I know.
She brought the press with her.
I understand.
In 2016. Can anybody tell me there were any bad stuff about him before then? Before 2016 and Amber Heard? And we have her on tape saying she was beating him.
I get it. I get it.
You. Yeah.
I get it. I mean, all valid points. And, she was granted the protection order back in 2016. And don't forget, she also got arrested herself, Amber Heard did, in Seattle.
Yes, in 2009.
For with her partner in the airport. They saw her grabbing her arm and getting rough and physical with him. So she's got that. I agree. But just because...
So I'm the 13th juror.
Okay. But you haven't heard all the case yet, so a juror can't make up their mind.
That's true, but I'm telling you, I'm the 13th juror, and I'm telling you, the jurors probably already have made up their mind.
They may.
But I'm saying how I'm leaning.
Okay.
I'm the 13th juror. I say give him $20 million, or at least $10 million. She's done.
What about her counterclaim? I mean, she's saying she was the victim of... She's saying that
show it. Prove it.
She hasn't had
But she ruined his reputation. Do you know who would want to... She did this...
My goodness.
She started this in
By the end of this, Johnny Depp is going to send flowers to Amber Heard for becoming the most loved plaintiff in the country, if not the world.
He's not loved at all.
He is completely resurrected, helping completely resurrect his image, and he is going to have a new career after this.
Good. Do you hear what this woman was doing to him, throwing bottles? And she said, we have it on tape. And the thing that I'm shocked about is everyone I'm watching, looking at all streams. I don't want to call any streams out, but you probably know where I learned about you. And I love that you have this call-in thing on. I just was looking at YouTube, and then I saw you. And
well, thanks for calling. Thanks for watching.
Well, you're brilliant. You're a smart man. I love lawyers, and I love you. People are not. You're balanced, I guess, or
I try to
look through the facts.
Like I said, I'm not sitting here saying Amber Heard is a great person. I'm just saying, and here's one thing to think about, okay? And I know some people are dismissive of it, but this case has really already been tried in England. Now, they didn't get a jury trial. It was a trial to a judge over there.
This is different.
But it's the same allegations. He sued the Sun newspaper for basically saying, is Johnny Depp a wife beater? Right? That was the headline. And
that's devastating.
But they brought in Amber Heard, who testified and said, these are the incidents. The judge in that case concluded that there was overwhelming evidence of domestic violence. And I'm not saying that Johnny Depp did. I'm just telling you, look at the definition for domestic violence, okay? It's very broad.
It's very broad, yes, but this is a defamation case because she said in 2016 at the divorce with cameras all over. That's when this started, not 2018. I don't know why they're talking about this started from 2018. Because of what she did in 2016, and there's no evidence of it at all. All we have showing up in court with her on tape, yelling, screaming, admitting to beating him. It's her, not the other way. So this is a domestic defamation. That was in the UK. This is the US. and it's
agree.
different laws.
They are
So,
different. I agree with that. I'm
and
clearly.
he was, I think, suing the Sun. Was he suing the Sun
Yes, the Sun newspaper.
in the UK?
Yes.
Right. So they told him, "Get out. We don't care. Bye."
But
Right.
they,
That's basically
but they
what
did
they
it based
said.
upon.
This is different. Go ahead. I'm so
No,
sorry.
but
Go
I mean,
ahead.
but the story was based upon allegations that she had made, and I'm just saying that, like I said, all this stuff has come out. You can actually go. There's a website. I think if you type in Johnny Depp British trial, you can get the transcripts of every day, of the written transcripts that are there, and
So
they're talking about the same stuff.
Live? Is it live? I think it's live on YouTube. Is it? I
The
would
one
rather.
the one in England, I don't know. I don't think it was televised,
Okay.
but I could be wrong. I didn't
Oh.
watch that one.
But what I'm saying here is they have different laws than us and completely different laws. And he was suing someone else. He wasn't suing Amber for defamation.
But he was
And so
suing the
now,
Sun.
I would do the same.
He was suing the Sun for defamation based upon allegations that she made. That's what I'm saying. And I'm
In the U.S., in the U.K.,
I
where
just-
they have different laws.
yeah,
They
actually
wear the white wigs, don't they?
they do.
Bill?
They do.
They have different laws. Right,
But I
they have
believe their
different
laws are
laws.
actually easier to sue for defamation than they are here. We have a much higher standard.
Yeah, but they don't think like us. I don't know if they were before a jury trial. I think I don't know. I'll look it up.
I
But
don't
what
believe
I'm
it
saying,
was.
Right. So it's a completely different situation. The woman, if you imagine, if someone came and a crazy chick, we just saw a psychologist today come on and said the woman has histrionic psychological issues and what was it? She didn't say. She said borderline personality disorder, and that's bipolar. There was a woman, I forgot her name, because I love laws, and it's insane what people do. She sounds just like the woman who played, I forgot her name right now, I think it was in the late 70s or something. She was in court playing Hungry Like the Wolf. She killed both of her children. No, she had 3 children, and she was after this male carrier. It's a very famous trial.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with it, but yeah.
You will, but I don't remember her name right now, but it's a very famous trial. But my point is, imagine if someone, and they do it all the time, said because they're angry, for whatever reason, the relationship didn't go wrong. And they say, you beat me, and do it publicly. That's what Amber did in 2016, and I would like to see anybody show me something before Amber did that in 2016, which started the onslaught, to say he's beating women. If he's a drug, most actors are high and stuff like that. That don't mean they're beating
I agree.
their spouse.
I agree. Who knows? Maybe
So
they could just
I'm
be
like,
so
I feel
laid
bad
out.
for him and her a little bit, but what she did, I mean, she literally destroyed this man's life
Well,
by saying he beat her.
I'm not saying that. I mean, we got to put a little fault here on Johnny Depp. She did not do it all himself. It sounds like he was, working towards sabotaging his career as well. And I have sympathy for the guy, man. I wouldn't wish a drug and alcohol problem on anyone. I mean, seriously. But I've just seen over the years so many people that find out later what they did when they were in drunk or high, and they didn't really recall what they happened, and they were absolutely embarrassed by it. And, you know, I don't know if all this
Yeah, but we don't have any proof of it. Where's the proof?
evidence
As soon
is
as where's the proof?
evidence is
Tell me
testimony.
what the proof is that he did.
Yeah,
Huh?
the evidence is testimony.
far.
That's for the jury to decide. He's saying, I never touched her.
Exactly.
I never engaged in domestic violence. She's saying he did. That's for the jury to decide. I love your call. Call back again. Seriously, you're great. Okay?
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. I loved it.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. All right, one more call. Who do we have, Frank? Is it Alana? Savannah?
Yes.
Good
Can
evening.
you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me? Hi.
How are you?
Probably, and then I'm just fine. How about yourself,
Doing wonderful.
Scott?
Yep, I'm here.
This is probably unpopular. Nevertheless, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I was going to talk about the Ghislaine Maxwell situation.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably unpopular what I'm going to say, but I just feel like she got, I don't think it was a fair trial. I don't think it was possible to get a fair trial. I mean, she was villainized, for the, and I think she was put on trial basically for, because they lost Epstein. And another thing is, the statutes and the charges that she's under don't even they don't even match the statute. There's three different counts of conspiracy on there, and it doesn't even name the victim. In other words, charged with a criminal offense. Count one relates to multiple victims at a time period 1994 to 2004. Well, there was this conspiracy. Who are these multiple victims? There's only three charges in there that relate to actual people they had on the stand. They only had four, and two of those weren't even supposed to be used because, in other words, they weren't considered underage. The judge did tell the jury, you can't consider any of this. It wasn't any kind of illegal, But nevertheless, they were still convicted. They were still convicted of this. Another thing is, 2, 4, and 6 of all the conspiracy charges basically don't name the victim. Don't name, and then the ones that are related to victims, which is 1, 3, and 5 are the conspiracy charges. 2, 4, and 6 relate to certain victims, but like I say, some of that wasn't even supposed to be used due to one was overseas in England, and she wasn't underage. But I mean, these charges are crazy. And basically, did you know that, like in the initial report, when they
let's get to
Jeffrey Epstein's original?
Yeah, but so I cannot necessarily disagree with you. Okay, this case was not important to the United States Attorney's Office until it was, right? Basically, because they were looking really bad and incompetent for basically giving old Epstein a pass on his case years and years ago where he pled guilty to engage in an underage prostitute or something to that. I think that was the charge. Something to that effect. Exactly. He got a smoking good deal. They made an immunity agreement saying no one around me is going to, be charged. And then all of a sudden the U.S. attorney, and don't get me wrong, Epstein does not seem like a good guy. Let's be honest, right?
Right.
And she looks like she helped out a guy who's not doing good things. I think we can agree on that as well.
The funny thing is, in the initial investigation, before he got the sweetheart, there were supposedly 30 minor victims that were running around, at Palm Beach or whatever, going over his place, giving them massages, getting money, and sending their friends. Do you know that in all that police report and all those investigations, and that this would have been right, what was it, 2006? But all Maxwell's charges are from 1994 to 2004. Not one of these girls or so-called victims ever so much as mentioned her name. She's not mentioned in any police report. Right. They searched the home, didn't even know of her. But there were a couple others, like Sarah Kellen, who was his assistant. They even issued warrants for them. But they didn't,
I get it. But
them.
Guess what? It's over. It's over. I mean, the only thing that's going to take place, we can relitigate it all day long, but it doesn't matter. The jury found her guilty. I think the most unfair thing that she probably should have got a retrial is the juror issue. I think when the appellate courts come down, I think that Ghislaine Maxwell will get a new trial. That's my prediction. Who knows? Appellate courts have disagreed with me in the past.
Get bailed? She has no record of any kind.
It doesn't matter.
You know, if
it doesn't matter.
She's down in New Hampshire.
It doesn't matter if you have no criminal history. You know, what does a murderer look like? Right? I can show you people, lots of people accused with murder that don't have a single offense on their record. It doesn't matter. It was proven to the jury's satisfaction. I think the jury was bad. Laura Menninger and Jeff Pagliuca are attorneys here in town. I've talked to Laura Menninger. I hope to try to get her to come here and talk. She's a great attorney, smart attorney. She went to Duke. She went to Stanford for law school. She is a very, very smart lady, a great attorney. Probably limited what she can talk about Ghislaine Maxwell case, but she did a great job. Thanks for calling. We got to wrap it up.
Okay.
Have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Bye for now. Nice talking to you.
All right. Quick super chat here. Oh, I just lost it. Jeez. Oh, man. Shibi32. Back to Lori Vallow. I have a son with schizophrenia, and he lost a year of his life when the psychotic episodes began. No memories that year. It can happen. I agree. I'm just curious what the mindset is of her right now. So, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. Make sure I got any super chats here. Lots of questions tonight. If you want to continue the conversation, we are going to jump on over to the Patreon in about 5 minutes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Crime Talk.